Hello and welcome back to round 2 of the BUSR summer season. We're in F123 this time in Qatar, and if you hear the sounds of Casper the Friendly Ghost from my mic, don't worry, it's windy as Goodwood found out today. I am joined today by Mr. Stig991, Adam Benjamin, who
Hello.
appears to have something written behind him.
I do have shirtless racing online written behind me, very poorly though,
Mm,
but we ignore that. The true SRO esports team. Um,
yeah,
so yeah,
definitely
how?
not another SRO going on right now.
No, definitely not. No. But how are you, Jason?
Yeah, I'm good. I've moved back home. I no longer have a brick wall behind me,
Hmm. I was
which is
very
nice. I can actually do something in my background.
yeah, and now hopefully I move house soon and have a much more different background for me. Soon
Very nice.
TM. But anyways, we're not here to talk about ourselves. We're here to commentate over F1 for the BUSR Summer Championship.
I was just going to talk about myself for an hour and a half.
But I'm
What are you
sure
planning on
the
doing?
lovely people were hoping on that as well. Um, but yeah, we are racing around Qatar, a very slow, mid-ish, cornery track. Some fast, some slow corners, but mostly mid, I would say,
Yeah, I think that's
personally.
how most people would describe this track. Mostly mid. Um, it's very nice to drive on, but not too sure about how the racing is. I can't quite remember, to be honest. But we will find out how it is. And
I,
what are we reckoning? Can Matty extend his lead at the top of the championship? Geek going to make a resurgent comeback? Maybe two main title protagonists, Dasher and Joe of last season, going to get a bit of an
uh,
in?
Historically, I would put my money on May as as a gambling person. I'd probably just go with the historical facts that Matty's pretty decent at being at the top of the timing sheets and winning loads of races. Maybe Geek can make a comeback and try and tie the point standings by the end of this week. It's hard to see. It's not hard to see. It'll be very easy to see
Yeah,
unless
we're definitely going
but
to see it.
we'll definitely see it. But what
And
we'll
we're also,
see
who
maybe
knows?
a huge pile up with those two drivers in, but hopefully not.
Maybe there might be a huge pile up. I mean, we've got one lobby today, as well, summer tends to bring
Hmm.
less people in just because more people are at home. They might have left their sim rigs at uni. That's okay. And well, there we go. Had just had an intruder in the broadcast booth
Yeah,
for a minute there. He has been dealt with.
removed.
We yeah. Um, he has been firmly dealt with, and I'm being told people are being slow. So
Slow.
we've just had a couple of people being added, and they've been told you have 5 minutes to join, or we'll start without you.
Oh, fair enough. How many people do we have in this lobby? As this one lobby, I would imagine maximum 20 people, but I've been told in my ear 15. But I wonder if that's the max amount of people or that's the amount of people who joined.
I mean, currently 15 people in the lobby itself. Got 18 people who accepted,
Okay.
and there are 19 people on the car allocation graphic. I don't know.
I may be a race organizer for F1, but I did not do that. I solely put that all on Ed. Um,
Yeah, no, Dasher did it.
oh, that's wait, what? What?
We got the graphics tool and stuff, you know.
Wait, you talking about the graphics call that Ed made or
He didn't make
Dash?
it; he found it.
Oh, what Dasher or Ed?
No, Ed found it, and Dasher's used it to make
Oh, I see. Okay.
a
So,
thing. But
mm,
we've still got a little bit of time, so let's have a look at the chat. We seem to have unbelievable support for Dylan Fernando. So good luck.
well, he's got Fernando as his name, so he must have a huge backing.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope he doesn't have a GP2 engine today.
Hmm. Or
Speaking of GP2,
well, speaking of Fernando,
speaking of Fernando,
in the one and only race that F1 has done around Qatar in real life, Fernando Alonso got a podium in an Alpine. So
there you go.
maybe we'll have Fernando on the podium this race.
Yeah, and speaking of GP2, they've also only done one race here. GP2 Asia in 2009
I remember that.
raced here. Do you?
No.
No, didn't think so. And yeah, the fastest lap set in that race was 1:38.6, which hopefully
Well,
we'll be seeing at least 15 seconds quicker than today.
oh, for sure.
You never know.
Considering we are in this day and age as F1 cars, rather than
Yes.
back in 14 years ago GP2.
2009 being 14 years ago does not sit right, but
Yeah, very mind-boggling to say.
The competitors seem to be asking, can we vroom now?
I mean, I wish.
Of which we appear to be vrooming very shortly, which is
Oh.
going to be nice to see.
Excellent.
And yeah, a fun fact that I've seen on the Wikipedia page that I have in front of me right now as well is apparently before the second edition of the Qatar Grand Prix in 2023, the circuits can be renovated from capacity could be increased from 8,000 to 52,000.
Wow.
How was it only 8,000? Did they just have like 3 chairs by turn 1? Like,
I'm assuming it's just like opening stands up or closing stands like at Silverstone, saying like, oh, you can go into these stands on these race days, but on these race days you can't.
I don't even know if they have the stands at that point. Where is the circuit in Qatar? There's Losail. There you go. And
so we are vrooming, as the F1 competitors said
look
in
at
their chat.
these. Cars will be driving.
Excellent. So no one out yet on track, but as you can see, the track map, they're very very wiggly wobbly, like I said, very mid-track, but it was mainly designed for MotoGP bikes.
Yeah.
And now we're racing open wheel Formula 1 cars around it.
Well, the
So the session is underway.
Qatar Motorcycle Grand Prix has been happening since 2004 when the circuit opened, so that do make sense.
That's near the time that Bahrain was opened for F1 for the first F1 races.
Wow.
Where I remember Felipe Massa being an absolute dominant force around there, winning almost pretty much all races, as we have the first competitor coming out on track, which is Dylan Fernando.
Oh,
as spoken before, huge backing in our chat. And we'll get our first look.
Mike's in the chat. Mike, who you got?
Michael Hamlet?
No. Mike.
Yeah.
No. Mike from the BUSR.
Ah, Mike.
Mike.
That Mike. Oh, Mike. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, Michael Hamlet is still... No.
Michael Hamlet's going to be dealing with the very long race happening. Which involves some of our drivers, actually.
It does, it does.
Angus Fender will be starting his commentary stint in 45 minutes.
Excellent.
And Joe Scher will be driving at some point. And myself and Alexa are stewarding. Very good.
Very good indeed.
Let's have a look, see what's happening on track. So as we said, Dylan Fernando is going to be the first one to set a lap. So perhaps we can take an onboard lap and see how this track layout goes. As you can see, we are in the correct normal F1 cars rather than player cars this time round, because a patch has come out that apparently has fixed the tyre performance, so we try it.
For the people who weren't, sorry, for the people who are unaware, each car had different varies of tyre performance. So the better cars had better tyre performance, the worse cars had worse tyre performance. As I
don't like Red Bull.
As I rudely interrupted you, we have Dylan Fernando on his first flying lap.
I was going to commentate the lap. We're already at like what, turn 6 or something. So
yeah,
there's no point now, Stiggy Poo, because we're already in sector 2. So let's see how the fast-flowing track is going to serve Dylan Fernando. As it's a bike track, the curbs are quite small.
Yeah, quite low down. Very easy to run across, like Dylan is.
Might as well take advantage of all of those.
Just taking those nice flat triple right-hander right there.
Turkey vibes.
To like a half throttle left. With a bit of shift down in. Coming into the final corner. No yellow flags being waved, so he's going to keep his foot to the floor, to the line, and not get his lap time deleted.
He would anyway.
It's a 1 minute 22, and is not bested by it. The couple drivers behind him immediately.
Yeah, see how this stacks up. In the coming laps, looks to be at least mid-pack.
We had a brief yellow flag there. Wasn't too sure, and again for sector 1, but I'd imagine it's just...
Yeah, it's just people letting other people through.
Yeah.
See, do we have... there we go.
As we have Dasher.
I was just thinking, do we have one of the typical top 5 on a lap? We did. Dasher's come through with a 1:21.7 to set the benchmark for the rest of the grid to see where they need to be to get up towards the pole position. Especially this man, see what he does.
Yep, Joe
Boom.
Dog. Smashing lap, 1:21.4. Showing off his dominance to the rest of the field. As we have immediately Jareki going up half a tenth quicker.
Fair enough. Don't know why he's removed the I's from his name.
That's true. I just spotted that.
So that's not Jareki at that point, that's Jarek.
Jarek, yeah, that is just Jarek, yeah.
That does sound more Arabic, to be fair, so...
Would be fitting with the location of our race today.
Yeah. And Mike in the chat once again saying the track looks very flat. Yes, the country's very flat. The highest point in Qatar is 103 meters.
And the lowest?
What, 0?
Well, I guess, yeah. I guess it is sea level,
where the land meets the sea.
The sea.
That is, we have been given a fun fact by the producer. Some countries do go below sea level, such as the Netherlands. Yeah.
Also, Death Valley in America.
So the Netherlands does not hold the lowest point on Earth. That is above ground. And I don't believe Death Valley is below sea level.
Is it not?
I wouldn't say so.
I would have thought it was.
It's quite far inland for it to be that, but...
I'm gonna quickly Google it.
That can be a fun fact. Or a fun
Death Valley's
question.
elevation is minus 86 meters.
Oh, fair enough. But anyway, that could be a fun open question. What's the lowest point on Earth?
Not
for you.
Oh.
For the chat. And I mean above ground, not in the sea.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. If anyone else thought differently, then don't know what you're doing. Right, so we are just a little over 10 minutes ago in the qualifying session. Jarek, now known as 121.397, with it's actually quite close actually. Within a second, you get to 7th, or no, 8th place actually, and then have a little bit of a drop off of half a tenth to Rogue in P9, and then TKO Survivor, who's been here for donkey's years, with 122.9,
He's been
rounding
here
off
for
the top 10.
years.
Yeah, the only person. Oh yeah, no, I know. The only two people that haven't set a lap yet is Matty Moo and Geek, of which I think Geek's just come out on track. Sorry, Matty's just come out on track, and Geek is on their out lap. I think they're in the middle sector or starting a lap. No, they're in the middle sector.
Yeah,
I
they
saw the
both.
I saw the other Red Bull of Jarek in the pit lane just coming out now.
They both didn't set a lap when the first few laps came out, so maybe saving a set of soft tyres for the race, knowing that they're going to be up towards the top in qualifying if they don't
Maybe,
go off track limits in the lap.
maybe, yeah. I was told by Geek that when he was looking at doing some race run practice, is that the optimum strategy is soft to mediums or mediums to soft. So might well be saving a set of soft tires and might start on the mediums. As we have Geek starting his next lap, DRS wide open to get full top speed, going into the first corner, hitting that apex lovely to the exit curve, set up for turn 2. Good braking, good steering, good throttle control, not losing it there, flat right. And then got to hit your brake marks for this next set of corners. As you're more or less just set up the first right-hander, and then if you get that clean, then the second right-hander you're just gonna have a quick run through anyways.
Yeah, I mean it seems like it pretty much nearly operates as one corner. Bit
I'm
like
not
the
too-
Mesmos.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure about that corner, just a couple corners back there, that right-hander. It didn't seem like he was on the curb, but I assume that you don't need to reach the curb. I mean, that's why I'm not currently in this top tier league. So what do I know?
Maybe it's an F1 death curb.
Maybe.
They still exist in this game, so, you know, might be one that you can't take, but he seems to be going pretty quickly here. It was a purple sector through sector 2 when he went through it. So we will see what the time is going to be, as he's going to be foot to the floor, DRS open, get all that deploy out the battery, and it is going to be a 121.2, 10th clear of Jarek.
Solid lap there, as Matty Moo has probably seen that come up on his display and is probably under pressure now to try and match or better it.
We're getting the fun
As Dasher
low. Yeah.
actually takes pole or provisional pole for now, as Matty Moo crosses the line with a 21,
Whee!
just under a 1. Fantastic lap.
Yeah. We're getting the fun facts from Mike in the chat about low down places. Apparently, the Fens is the lowest place in the UK, and I've looked it up. There's a list of the lowest places in Europe. The lowest point in Ireland is called North Slob, which doesn't sound particularly appealing.
No.
But whatever. And did you know, of course you knew, because they say it in every real life F1 stream, that Baku is below sea level?
How that work?
What do you mean?
Considering it's by the sea.
No, it's by a lake.
Oh, it's by a lake. Oh.
By a really big lake. Big enough that it's called a sea, but it's not connected to the sea. Anyway, Joe's set the fastest lap, 1:21.013, so we could see into the 120s here.
Yeah, with that track evolution always playing a huge factor.
Yeah, quite interesting. The fastest lap in the 2021 Qatar Grand Prix was a 1:23.1 from Max Verstappen.
So
we're
clearly,
already...
these drivers are all better than Max Verstappen then.
Yes, confirmed. Well, apart from the bottom three.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
You can't get a Red Bull seat. But the rest of you, come on in.
Sorry, I've been shocked into silence.
Are you still playing poker?
Nothing to do with poker.
Oh.
It is, but can't believe it.
Stig991 is still gambling.
For free. These are free tournaments, but I cannot believe the way I just got knocked out that tournament.
That's fine. You can focus on this now.
Absolutely. As Tico Survivor's the only car on a lap or is on an in-lap, as Rage has left the session host has left the lobby, which doesn't bode well to the situation that leaves us in.
You'll love to see it.
Unless our producer, our lovely producer here, is actually the host of the lobby, then
it seems like our lovely producer has also got voice chat enabled in the F1 game.
Too late now to change that, but okay, no worries.
In between quali and the race,
Rundle beginning lap, and Ed is back. Ed is back in the lobby. Good news. So Rundle 7/10 off. Joe Dog.
Yeah, how much of it can he find? I mean, last week he finished in 12th. So 6th place is looking pretty good at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a free track more or less for himself, and I would presume this is actually his final run, as I don't think he'll be able to get in, do an in-lap, get in, new tyres, get out, and set a final lap. So this is pretty much all or everything. You set a purple sector 2? Okay.
Interesting.
There's some pace in this car.
There might be pace in the track as well.
Oh, that was legal, apparently.
Cool.
White lines clearly mean nothing here. As we come down the straight finish, across the line, improves but doesn't actually go anywhere. So potential 6th place or worse now for Rundle.
White lines are evidently much more impactful in Austria.
Yeah.
Than they are in Qatar.
Absolutely. As we have the Haas of SJ, the YG here, who's off by 9/10 to the next driver in front of him in quali. Maybe he's had a really bad run of it. We'll see, as he's going to have lots of cars exiting the pit lane. He's actually going to have one car just ahead of him, the car of a Mercedes. I don't know which Mercedes it is, but hopefully they will do the correct thing and move out the way, or just stay ahead of him. Well, that's also a factor. Oh no, he's braked, so he is letting him through.
I'm having 2014 flashbacks at the moment, I'm going to be honest.
Oh, that looked a bit wide, but still legal. I guess the white line, yeah, I guess it's to the curb. Oh, that was a weird interaction the car just had.
To be honest, it's probably an F1 moment of it depends where you are on the track. So, might be seeing some inconsistent track limits, but it doesn't seem like anyone's been having real issue with it.
As Rundle's retired from the session now, there was an issue
No,
where
that'll be
someone,
just. That'll
well,
just be that you retired.
yeah, no, but last week we had an issue where people retired and it kicked people out of the lobby. So I assume that issue's now been fixed.
We don't want that happening.
As we have SJ to YG rounding out the final corner. Coming to start finish straight. Can they improve their position? No, they cannot. As we now go on board with Darkness. No, we don't. We go on board with Wilson, who's just started their final lap. As everyone's actually starting their final laps now. I think the last person across the line will be GSJW. Just about. Yeah, I think they just about made it across the line, so that's it. Checker flag will be out now. So anyone completing the lap now, that'll be your final lap as Dasher's first coming across the line. Soon at TM. Here he comes.
I don't know how it is. We'll see how
Pretty
it is
speedy.
when he comes across. It is going to be third only for Dasher.
He did improve, but didn't actually go up anywhere. Next up, Rogue. Can he put that Ferrari any higher? No, he cannot. He cannot improve. He was 3,000ths down on his own time. Geek now is up 2/10 in the second sector.
Big one here.
Which would be enough for him to get second place. He improves by 2.5 attempts. Jarek moves up to fourth.
Damn.
Matty Mumu now in a Ferrari sandwich. And
Joe
Joe Dog, sets the first and only time so far of sub 21. As we have Darkness now coming across the line. So it seems like Geek's going to be in a Mercedes sandwich and Matty Mumu's going to be in a Red Bull sandwich here. Wilson across the line, improves to 6th place, pushes Rundle down to 7th.
Fair play. Matty can't improve.
Fernando improved.
Fan
favorite up to the 4th row of the grid, and that is it. That is qualifying for week 2 of the BUSR F1 summer season. As you can tell, I'm really used to commentating in the spring.
Yeah.
First time in the summer. Not used to it.
Welcome.
But yeah,
we're more relaxed here.
Yeah, we're very, very relaxed. But yeah, exciting qualifying session there. 2 Mercs, 2 Red Bulls on the front 2 rows, followed by Dasher. Are we going to expect sparks or fireworks going into the first corner? I remember there being sparks and, well, only sparks, not fire, when F1 raced in Qatar, when Alonso, I think it was, behind one of the Alpha Tauris, I think, when there was just sparks coming off the floor when they went a bit wide over a curb, and then people made the meme of what's the Star Wars thing when they go into hyper thing?
Anyway, apart from that, between quali and the race, let's have a quick word from our partners at Special Effect, why don't we?
Nobody likes being left out. That's why Special Effect but this isn't just about having fun. The gaming setups we create are personalised, so people can play to the very best of their abilities. And that opens the door to inclusion and independence, confidence and creativity. Help us level the playing field and create more magical gaming moments. Because it's everyone's turn to play.
Welcome back after those lovely words from our partner here at Special Effect, who as you can see just below me, we are proud to support.
Oh,
No,
that way.
yeah, you
That way.
you were right the first time. You were right the first time. But it shouldn't be too long now until we get into the race. With the track layout, to be honest, I wouldn't say turn one. I mean, there's always potential for chaos in a turn one, but
Well, considering
it
it's
shouldn't
quite
necessarily be too bad.
comparing Qatar's turn one with a much slower turn one like Baku, I think there's
Bahrain.
and Bahrain, yeah, like obviously the slower corners invites a lot of dive bombs going into the first corner, but sometimes medium speedy-ish corners can offer a lot of racing rather than dive bombs slow up the entire field and then they'll go through.
Yeah,
When a medium speedy-ish corner offers a little bit more wheel-to-wheel racing, gets the pack flowing through the corner.
I mean, any contact that we'll see will likely be more minor, but it does tend to result in more just sort of. I'm trying to talk with my hands like I'm Italian. Just sort of more bit of carbon fiber flying. But here we go. Lights are out, and we're underway. Let's have a look at what happens here. Joe's getting a good start. Geek is going to try and challenge on the outside, switching around. Not going to be able to get through there. See what happens between Cherokee and Matty. There's someone round in the background. Sparks flying. Carbon fiber everywhere. Dylan's out, SJ's out, that's got to be a safety car, surely, and it is immediately. You can see the yellow dot in the bottom. That means full course safety car here immediately in Qatar.
Okay, maybe not sparks and fireworks, but definitely contact and carbon fiber flying around everywhere. What on earth happened in the mid pack? I'm assuming like someone didn't leave someone room and it got spun into like straight up the middle of the pack.
I'm going to see if I can see anything on the stream replay.
But definitely from from what we saw on the start, Joe Dog getting a good, I mean, more or less everyone got a good getaway from like the first 5 drivers, and Joe Dog just covering off Geek on the inside, Geek having to go around the outside instead for turn 1. But yeah, let's have a look at some tyre strategies if we can, going through the order of cars. I think I saw Geek was on mediums. Some people opting for hards for the first stint. So yeah, we have Joe Dog on hards, Geek on mediums. So he's really trying to use up those mediums quite quickly to pass Joe Dog, put a bit of distance between him and Joe, and then pit onto softs, I would imagine, as we have a lot of people pitting for either front end damage or changing tire strategy, possibly after seeing some people around them on the mediums. Ferrari's having to double stack, but they had to change the front wing on the second Ferrari. That's a stop and go penalty for the Williams. I wonder if they jumped the start or something, but that looked like they had to do a stop.
What do you mean? They were just serving a. Yeah, so it's probably a in-game penalty for causing a collision. But I've just looked back on the stream replay. It looks like can't see much, but either Wilson spun round himself or had contact with Dasher in front or Dylan behind. And then that caused Wilson to spin round in front of the pack. I think he's lucky to be in the race because presumably other cars made contact with him.
I mean, there was just like an explosion of carbon fiber behind with like wheels flying off everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, there was a whole melee. Like anyone from 8th down here, I would think would have had damage in that.
Doodle was starting like 7th-ish, and they're now dropped to 11th.
No, he started 9th.
Interesting. 9th. Oh, I thought they got a bit higher than.
You can see that by the fact that it says -2.
-2.
Doodle's name.
Oh, it was Wilson that had a decent. Oh yeah, and then Wilson got spot. Okay, right, cool.
Oh, Wilson was the first one round.
Yeah, it definitely started around 8th, 7th, considering
Yeah.
Dylan Fernando is out. SJ to YG just getting caught up in the very back when coming across the incident. As we now
Thank
have
you,
a
AWS.
as we now have a possible race strategies very momentarily of medium to hard or medium hard there. But obviously we've got some drivers who are starting on the hard tire, so they're just gonna crack on till they have to pit onto mediums.
Tended to be my favourite strategy. Is start on the harder compound of tyres. You can make use of the mediums more. You can maybe get an extra lap out the mediums when you come onto them. Just tends to be the way I prefer to drive it. But depending on how long those hards can go, you wouldn't think that you could go to the end on a hard.
No, I wouldn't gamble on it. Well, I did once in a BUSR race when I was competing. My tires were at like 80-85%, and it was at Vietnam, so
No.
it's very difficult to drive in that race. That was when I had no force feedback wheel. Good old T70 Thrustmaster. Like I wouldn't think the hard tires for the people who have stopped onto them will get to the end.
No, fair
Interesting line there by JW behind the safety car, still going off track.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Bit funny. And safety car in this lap, as expected. We got the whole field.
Punched up behind Joe Dog, who now dictates the pace. Everyone trying to get some heat into their tires, ready for the restart.
Joe going to be showing the pack how to do a safety car restart after Abu Dhabi Spring 23.
Yes. Very controversial ending.
Very much fell foul. I don't know what it is about Abu Dhabi, but he has gone. And Geek is fairly close by following. With some ERS and some slipstream, he could very much be challenging into turn 1 here. He's been forced over to the outside line. So we'll see. It looks like he's dumped a lot of ERS because he's already ahead. And he's going to be able to keep that coming through into turn 2. But sweeping around the outside. Look at that from Joe. Straight around. Where's that grip come from?
That was a fantastic move by Geek to get round the outside of turn 1, but they just slowed up for entering turn 2, and Joe just getting round the outside of Geek, like great overtaking around the outside of each other. I wonder if Geek's used up too much energy as he's now trying to find a quick way around Joe. He really wants to utilize these mediums and try and get ahead of the whole entire field, as we have Wilson here off track. Oh, almost contact with the Ferrari there.
Whoa,
of
a
Road.
GSJW. My goodness me.
Yeah,
He went for,
GSJW just going for a move with in the right circumstances, I guess. This is some scrappy battling going on as Rogan, GSW now side by side, and whoa, that's a spin for Wilson.
Whoops.
Doesn't hit the tie barrier, gets it in reverse very quickly, enters the track very safely as no cars behind.
Fairly good recovery, if I do say so myself, but see what happens here once again between Joe and Geek. But my thoughts were, maybe we're seeing people who are used to driving this track on their own, but don't necessarily know the lines when racing people yet. That may be why we could have seen Geek overslowing into turn 2, which he's not made the same mistake this time around. We wouldn't expect him to.
Yep, solid move around the outside there. Now we'll now see if he starts to pull away with those better medium tyres compared to the hards. As we'll see if he can break that DRS 1 second barrier, as there is a crash. TKO Survivor, veteran of the BUSR F1 scene.
He's not survived this one.
Not quite, no, but it doesn't look like there's any damage on the car, which is good. As we head back to the front pack, is I think the main objective for this first lap is to see if Geek can pull a 1 second gap to Joe, because then that breaks that DRS that Joe could have down the one big straight that we have here at LaSalle.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. There's only one DRS straight, and the rest of the track is very, very cornery.
Yes.
You're going to want to be using downforce and mechanical grip. Mechanical grip, something that Joe is going to have less of. Downforce, something that Joe's going to have less of because he's behind Geek. It's just things like that that's going to add up into the favour of the driver in first place to allow him to get away. And we'll probably be seeing that.
Yeah, as he's already, well, as we just saw, as the first time going down that straight, nothing doing for Joe. Couldn't even get any closer, really, time-wise, as that gap's now built to almost 8 tenths. As we have a look back now at Charles Simons, who's 3 seconds away from Rundle, but has Doodle just behind for company within a second.
See with your pronunciation that you decided that he's French?
I guess.
You
I
just
see Charles and
Charles in a Ferrari, and you just go, c'est Charles.
yeah. You can definitely see it's almost like multi-class racing. This is, you've got the top 6 all like quite close to each other, and then you have Charles leading the rest of the pack. Definitely looking like best of the rest. But there
Well,
do
we
be
are in one lobby today, so
yeah. Otherwise, we would have 2 lobbies with equaling, well, similar paces at the front.
yes.
But instead, we have the top 6 who are pretty much racing in a line, as Geek has broken that DRS 1 second gap to Joe.
He has.
And I wonder if Matty is going to play the waiting game to overtake Joe, maybe undercut Joe by a lap, or overcut if he thinks he can be faster on the hard tyre for an extra lap than Joe on a fresh set of mediums in their first lap.
Well, we'll see what ends up working. I feel like an undercut is more the strategy you tend to go with, but if that's going to put you into the traffic behind, because they are gaining significant time, and the wind has decided to open my door, that's quite impressive. I'm going to go and shut that.
It's quite impressive by Casper there, as I'll continue my thought. I wonder if Matty's thinking about more the championship than this one solo race, as he wouldn't want to try and send it on Joe, make a mistake, and go even further back in order. As currently, as it will stand, Geek will take the championship lead from Matty. So that's my thoughts of what sort of strategy Matty could go with to try and do damage limitation for later in the race.
I mean, maybe, but I don't necessarily think we need too much damage limitation at this point. I mean, it's round 2 of 6, we got a drop round, so...
Oh, that's a little mistake from TKO Survivor there, letting GSJW through for a moment, but has actually come back at him and has actually retaken 11th spot. Good on him.
Good on you, son.
Sorry.
No problem.
We're gonna stay on this battle.
Yeah.
With TKO Survivor and GSJW.
We'll see what happens here, but just talk about the front again for a little minute. We're seeing that Geek's not really pulling a gap to Joe. Now that may just be because Joe has his downforce back now.
Yeah, has a little bit
Matty's
more gap there, isn't he?
Matty's not really fighting.
Yeah,
Doesn't need to.
doesn't need to.
Really.
No, I'm wondering when the mediums will start to wear away. Because if Geek doesn't pull like, I don't know, 2-3 seconds to Joe, then this medium strategy might not work, because I think the mediums will be a lot better in the second half of the race when you have a much lower fuel with a much more rubbered in track. So
I mean, you'd say the softs would start dying probably about 2
now,
laps time, maybe
yeah,
now. So
which,
mediums will be another, what, 5 or so.
yeah, I'm thinking around lap 15.
Yeah, 15, 14. Should see Geek come in, and to be fair, if it's at that time, we'll probably see most of the field come in, because that's about the halfway point. If you can get a set of mediums to halfway, then, you know, there's no point staying on your hard.
Yeah. I see Matty isn't using his DRS.
Maybe because he knows he doesn't need to.
Because I would have thought, maybe go for it, because the gap's now 1.8 seconds, so Geek's found 4 attempts in that lap alone. So I wonder if, I mean, Joe is not a slow driver, maybe Matty could just make an overtake on Joe to see if he can close in that gap, or not make that gap as big as it is.
Yeah, I mean, he could, but he still knows that it's gonna come back to them. Just via the tyre advantage that they're gonna have in the second stint. So it's still like, there's still the risk of overtaking that may not necessarily be worth it.
Jarek having a little bit of oversteer there on the exit of that last left-hander. Has lost a little ground to Matty, but he should have DRS forward straight to get that gap back, as it is still a procession of cars for the top 6. Just like real life, as Jarek has actually gone off the track there, exceeding track limits. I'm sure he'll get a warning from the FIA, in-game stewarding.
Yeah, naughty, naughty. We know the consequences of that too well now. Do not do it again. Although, to be honest, if the game had the same track limit penalties and stuff as real life, yeah, that wouldn't go too well for some people. You'd be seeing a lot more DQs from track limits.
Yes. As a potential Esteban Ocon could have had, with all the times that he decided to leave Austria and rejoin. That gap has a gap at the front
of track limits and invaded Germany.
Yeah. Gap is still at 1.8, as that's a big off for the Aston Martin of Rundle there. Came back on fairly neatly though, so shouldn't have lost too much time.
If that's not track limits, then I don't know what is. Because frankly, if that ain't track limits, then, you know, you're able to go to Bahrain.
Not too far away from here.
No, to be fair.
Okay, gap's built a little bit more to 1.9.5-ish for Geek. Almost at 2 seconds now, which I'm wondering where will he come out at? Which is a fair question to have if he'll be held up in the cars behind who aren't as quick as him. If we said that a pit stop's like 23 seconds, we're looking at around about 3:11, around about TKO Survivor. GSJW maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much time they lose. I'd like to know what the shortest distance between two F1 tracks is, because as the crow flies, Bahrain and Qatar are only 70 miles away from each other.
Does that include former tracks or active tracks on the calendar?
Nah, I'd say active.
I'd imagine it would be, well, it could be either Middle Eastern countries or Europe, possibly.
Yeah, I was looking to Europe, but they're
Well,
actually
that's,
like
I was about to
fairly far away.
say Spa and Zolder.
And well, Zolder's not an F1 track, first of all.
Oh wait, one thing Zolder. I meant Zandvoort. As we
That's like at least 120 miles.
As we having a look back at a fight for the top 10 between TKO Survivor and Darkness. I believe we have someone in the pits who is maybe serving a drive-through. That's Wilson. He's just left the pit lane, even though it says it's still in the pits.
Well, presumably
Interesting
just
by the game.
pitted.
Oh no, he has pitted onto hards. So that'll be to the end. So that's 26 laps of hards to the end.
No,
And I don't remember what he.
16 laps.
What did I say?
26.
23. 26. Oh, 16. My bad. I saw 29 and got excited. But yeah, 16 laps to the end on hards should be easily makeable, considering the top of second to sixth are on 13 lap old tyres. And then the next four behind them are on mediums that they pitted onto after the lap 1 crashes. So I wonder if Geek is starting to feel these tyres start to wear away a little bit, considering we're now on lap 14.
Yeah,
As
I
we
mean,
have
we'll see.
GSJW pitting now, which he was on soft. I think he pitted onto soft tyres in that crash. So those were 11 lap old tyres, and he's onto mediums for the next 15 laps, which, to be fair,
Right, so
could
we'll
be doable.
basically be seeing most people pitting then.
I wonder if, like I said at the top of the show, Geek will Geek stay out all the way until we can pit onto softs?
I mean,
He only has to
maybe.
get to lap 18, and he's already got a decent gap here. The gap is
He'd do it,
closing
to be
as
fair.
Rundle is the first of the hard tyres to pit.
I mean,
Now,
could we be seeing hards to soft? Maybe
that's what I'm very excited about, because I think Geek and Matty might potentially have a new set of soft tyres, but they didn't use in qualifying.
Yeah,
As Rundle pits onto a new set of mediums.
maybe we were bamboozled by the normal hard to medium strategy.
As we have Charles now coming in to also pit onto new medium tyres from his old medium tyres, I believe he was on. TK Survivor as well, going on to hards as he was on mediums. Which that will easily make it to the end. As that gap, I think Geeks is definitely starting to feel those mediums wear away now as the gaps drop about 2.5 tenths. Gap now being 1.5. As Wilson sets a new fastest lap of the race with those new hard tyres, he's popped onto his Alfa Romeo F1 car. So we are over halfway through the race. Geek's still not pitting, and Joe's actually going to pit on those hard tyres, even though they were gaining time to Geek. That's an interesting strategy call.
Maybe Merck's got the mediums out.
Maybe. We'll see if Mercedes do have the mediums out, and I think they do.
that the banana tyre? That is the banana tyre going on. Oh,
Oh, that's
oh,
a safety car
oh.
at the
What
worst
timing?
Wait, is that
That's
good
good timing.
timing? That's
That's
very good
good.
timing for Joe. Because now, actually, wait, no,
Fantastic timing. No, that is good timing.
I don't think that's good timing actually. Because then Joe will be caught behind the safety car. He'll be told to go through though.
It's
Ooh.
it's okay timing, is what
It'll
it
be
is.
very
I
touch and
think,
go to see if this front
because
four, sorry.
everyone's going to be behind a delta,
Hmm.
so it's basically virtual safety car until the first lap under safety car is done.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll see whether that time is more or less than what Joe would have lost in the pit lane. I think, looking at the times and how they've sorted themselves out, it's probably bad timing. But
I think
we'll see how it pans out. We've just got to assume that all of these are coming in. Not sure if Jarek will actually, because he'll double stack.
That's the one issue I see
There's
here.
4 seconds. There's 4
There's
seconds.
4 seconds. I mean, Red Bull can do a sub 2 second lap pit stop surely. As we do see Geek, Matty, Jarek, and Dasher all pitting from the top 4. I wonder what tyres they're going to go onto though. Here we have Geek pitting onto the soft tyres.
It's very possible.
Jarek's been held up just a tiny bit with unsafe pit release on, so Geek did not get held up by that McLaren of Dasher, and Jarek has lost a position to Dasher. But where is Joe is the crucial question.
He's on the main straight.
On the main straight, but he's at a delta, so he's not going to gain any positions out. He's actually going to lose positions. As we get to safety car line 1, actually, Jarek is going to be the big loser out of all this. Jarek is the big loser out of all this situation, going from 4th to 5th. Dasher being a big gainer, going from 5th to 3rd, and it's the same positions for 1 and 2.
I love how you say 4th to 5th is the big loser, not 2nd to 4th.
No, because Jarek was in
4th.
Well, was in 4th.
Okay, so he's lost 1 position and Joe's lost 2.
Oh yeah. This is why I don't do the maths. Anyways, right. But tyre strategy wise, like I said, Geek said medium to soft was an option. He has gone to soft tyres, but he saved in quali. I'm surprised Matty didn't do softs as well. So, when will this safety car come in? I reckon it will come in on lap 18. So we're gonna have what, 10 laps of racing? Doodle's on the soft tyres. If Doodle's quick enough, he could have a go at Rundle, who's on. Well, Rundle's had a full racing lap on those medium tyres, so they might have lost a bit of degradation out of them.
It'd be negligible.
It's all up in the air at the moment. This is like stage racing in NASCAR, isn't it? We've got about just a little bit over halfway.
Yep, stage 1 is done.
Yeah. So we're going to go for another lap of the circuit. As I've just actually realised, this is a great situation for Matty now, taking second place. So Matty didn't get fastest lap last race. I think Geek got it. So if Geek gets the win and fastest lap, he is well at the front of the leaderboard for the time being, bearing drop rounds. I'm excited. I'm excited for this last 10 laps.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. I mean, there's a potential anticlimax, but I think it will just be down to how much difference there is between the soft and the medium. Because realistically, Geek's going to want to run away. But if Matty can stop that, then he'll be able to put up a good fight because he'll know that he can go full out on his tyres, whereas Geek may have to do a little bit of saving.
Quick word on the corner cutting situation. The host lobby, Ed, put corner cutting stringency on regular. So
What
I
a
don't
joker.
think we're going to see many time penalties for cars exceeding track limits.
What has he done?
He's certainly put a spanner in the works. I want, even though I'm a steward, I don't know if drivers can put in
No.
yeah.
No, it's all done by the game.
Yeah, Jason's stopping me before I even get to finish
You
my
can't do
sentence,
that.
but it's fine. We're going to be going underway for 10 laps of racing.
It's fine because I knew what you were going to say. I can read your mind, friend.
Well, Geek go. Geek is gone. Hopefully he's got fresh, well, not fresh, enough heat in them tyres to try and run away from the field now as Matty in hot pursuit on those medium tyres. But we'll see if Geek can hold him off going into turn 1, which he's well clear of. Jarek not having the greatest of starts is getting hounded by Rundle and Doodle, as we've had an overtake in the backfield from Tico, Survivor and Wilson. As everything's more or less the same as they are.
Looks like Joe's trying to get a running start to get back up to where he was before that unfortunately timed safety car for him. I mean, he's only lost 2 positions, but he'd still prefer second over fourth.
Yep,
But
absolutely.
these guys can't fight too hard at the front, otherwise they're going to let Geek get away.
Geek's already trying to let himself get away. 7 tenths now is the gap between himself and Matty. Just needs to build a big enough gap so that if those soft tyres do wear away near the end of the race, that the mediums are still, well, hopefully just not as quick enough to catch and overtake. Which, well, as we are a track where there's lots of corners, catching is one thing, overtaking is another.
Let's just see how Joe does here. He's going to go to the inside in turn 1. See how that works. Inside, favourable line. So he's able to get the overtake done. Is Dasher going to come back at him through turn 2? Not going to get there. We see a little bit of a train now behind Joe. He's got to hustle a bit to get to the back of Matty and try and not let Dasher put him off too much.
We have a bit of fighting between Wilson and GSJW. Not trying to be the last of the classified runners, as they're still side by side through this long left-hander. As they're still side by side for the next double right-hander. Which, maybe there was contact, maybe there wasn't very hard to see there, but Wilson does have a little spin into the gravel. But he gets underway pretty quickly afterwards. So not too much damage there, apart from just losing a lot of time to the next car. As we jump back to Matty here, who's just about inside a second, but I don't think DRS is activated. Yeah, that's a spin for Dasher in the background there.
Ooh.
Dropping more or less to the rear end of the field. He's going to be feeling absolutely just hating himself after that. That is not what I was expecting from quite a experienced driver in the BUSR. But that promotes Jareki up to 4th, Rundle up to 5th, Dude up to 6th, and well, pretty much everyone gaining 1 place actually.
So that opens opportunities.
Absolutely.
Because now, well, by the looks of what we're seeing between the Red Bull and the Aston Martin, a potential Rundle podium could be on the cards in the final few laps of this race. As
Gap's only
Well,
half a second, and then another half a second to
yeah.
Doodle. So DRS, I believe, well, I think DRS is activated on this lap. So when it comes round to the start-finish straight with our one and only DRS zone, will we see an overtake into turn 1?
Yeah, maybe, but looks like the gaps towards the front are opening up a bit, so it may just be 1, 2, and 3, and then the train behind 4th, and that's track limits. Doodle, come on. And
TKO Survivors left the server session. Alpine driver in 9th position currently. I believe his AI will take over until he joins back into the session, as we have Rundle here, DRS wide open, all the DRS he needs to make the overtake on Jarek, which he does, and promotes himself up into 4th place, and no fight back from Jarek into the next couple corners, unless he's close enough there.
Wash.
As we see Dasher now just trying to Dasher's now definitely doing damage limitation, needing to make back the places he has lost just to try and gain some positions back. I've just noticed something, that Joe is pretty quick around this track. The gap was 9/10 to Matty, but now it's half a second, so I wonder if Joe's going to try and overtake Matty here. Maybe Matty's going to be a bit under pressure now as TKO Survivor joins back into the race. But we do see Jarek right on the tail of Rundle here.
Yeah, he doesn't want to spend any more time behind another car than he has to. And, well, definitely not going to do the overtake here, because he's then just going to be passed straight again by DRS. Let's see what Joe does here. Up to turn 1.
Joe with
Looking like he's
DRS.
going to make the move to the right-hand side of Matty, getting it done before the braking zone and coming through. Same with Jarek on Rundle. Seems like a fairly powerful DRS zone with the ERS use as well.
Absolutely, as we see Dasher making up another position on GSJW to enter the top 10. I would imagine he could potentially reach Charles and get a 7th place here. I think CRM with the soft tyres will be a little bit too far ahead. Geek was like 1.2 seconds away from Joe, Matty, before Joe made the overtake into 2nd place. But it's only been like 4 or 5 laps since Geek put them soft tyres on, so surely they're not dying away now.
They shouldn't be dying yet, but I mean the crossover point between mediums and softs is not going to be too far away. Definitely wouldn't expect it to be now, considering we've seen how the mediums last, but you never know. Hello, track limits, you good there?
Yeah.
Doodle, you alright, boss?
Going really wide as we have Rundle going to try and make an overtake. Ooh, almost running into the back of Jarek there while he was trying to go from switching from the inside to the outside. That would have been a fantastic move if he could have made that work, as Jarek's just lost so much time to the back of Matty. It's going to be this must be a fight for 4th place. I don't see them getting back up to the podium positions now, as Joe's just still holding position with Geek just ahead. He's actually gone within DRS, but we're only in sector 2 right now, so it's a long way till we get round to the DRS zone. But still, 9/10 is still inside. That DRS could be very useful, unless Geek's saving up a lot of electrical ERS boost for that straight to minimise that DRS advantage. Say again?
Couldn't quite see on the wheel, but apologies. We'll just take a look. Joe is not within DRS. No. Matty is, but it's not going to be close enough to make an overtake into turn 1. So he'll just catch up. Actually, it seems to be very effective. Maybe it will be close enough, but he's probably not going to do it anyway because I know them. They'd rather both catch up to Geek and have the chance at first rather
Yeah.
than fighting and scrapping over second.
Absolutely. Like Matty there caught up about 3 attempts, 4 attempts at best. But yeah, they've somehow just lost all the way, like 2, 3 attempts just from like that final sector to, well, the end of the first sector there. But now they're gaining back, so I wonder if they've got a better setup than Geek, because they're gaining a lot of time in Sector 1, but then losing a lot of time at the end of Sector 2, and then, well, the whole of Sector 3. So I wonder if Geek has gone for a much slicker car in the straight, as like this whole this triple right hander here is all flat. But they actually haven't lost time, they actually gained time actually, almost. And through the final corner, they will have DRS this time with 4 to go.
Slippery car in a straight line is a good thing in the race. So, could make sense. And we'll see how much Joe gains. It's going to be good 3/10 nearly. Definitely 3/10 actually. So that's going to put him, well, I'd say next lap probably right on the back of Geek, ready for an overtake. So we could be ripe for a hot and heavy battle here in Qatar for the lead of the race with 3 laps to go.
Rundle's just under a tenth just behind, but Rundle wasn't going to make an overtake into turn 4 there. It'd be an aggressive dive bomb with so many of these medium speed corners. You've got to just keep your average speed up throughout the entire corner up. As we have a look at the lead battle here, Geek's gone so well to lead almost the entire race, apart from the first couple of laps as the safety car came out on a different tyre strategy. It'd be quite a sad, well, it'd be quite a sad scene to see Geek lose this win, but quite a dramatic finish if Joe makes this overtake with this tyre strategy call. Especially when Joe pitted on the lap that the safety car came out and lost so many positions.
And we will get to see it happen as we get on to lap 27 of this race. Joe is pulling out to the right-hand side into turn 1, makes the move stick. Is there going to be any fight back into turn 2? No opportunity for the driver of the Red Bull. And Joe is going to hold that lead. He's going to try and run away, but it's going to be very difficult. I'm not sure how possible it's going to be, but I feel like so long as you've got at least a half a second gap going on to the DRS straight, you should be all right. And he's already got 6/10.
Yeah, I think those tyres. I think you must have worked them tyres very hard, because I was not expecting those tyres to be done by lap 8 that he's on in this stint. Still losing time to Joe, but possibly he's not too well. He's had clean air for a long time, so now he's having that dirty air. It's just struggling a little bit now. Probably braking a little bit earlier than he was, just to make sure he can get the car turned in. He is going to have DRS, but Matimu right on the tail of him. He's going to have big old DRS flap open, lots of ERS to use. Will Geek defend? He is. Matty having to go round the outside to make this overtake stick, as we can see they're still side by side. Geek getting all kinds of wobbling out there, and Matty just takes the inside for the second corner and through up into second place, as we have the 2 side-by-side cars of Rundle and Jarek coming out of turn 2, still side by side here. I think Jarek has just gone ahead. Rundle turning into the corner, can't do anything, and Jarek takes 4th place away from Rundle there. Great racing, all in quite quick succession there.
Yeah. Do you reckon that at this point because of that. I mean, there was a battle between Matty and Geek. It wasn't a completely done overtake. Do you reckon that Joe has done enough here as SJW's coming into the pits? I mean, maybe to set a set of softs on and try and go for fastest lap, but I mean, I guess there's no reason why you don't. Apart from if you get caught by the leaders.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is nearly true.
Nearly true, yeah. I reckon he won't, but as we do come onto the final lap of the race, Joe with a 6/10 lead over Matty, who's not going to be able to send a move into turn 1. Geek not being able to send a move on Matty into turn 1. As we have Rundle, we're using DRS to re-overtake Jarek. What a fight for P4 we're having here between those two drivers, as we now have the two Alfa Romeos having a little ding-dong battle for 10th place. As we jump back up to looking at Geek now, actually we'll go back to the Alfa Romeos actually, as Darkness having DRS overtaking Wilson quite easily into turn 1 on their medium tyres, which I'd imagine are performing a lot better than the hard tyres of Wilson at this stage, to be honest, because there hasn't been too many laps since the safety car.
Yep, and well, we don't tend to see much overtaking in this part of the lap, so...
Oh,
Ooh, had a spinner.
actually,
Wilson,
on the hard tyres, yeah, just spinning around.
But yeah, going back to my point about the leaders, don't tend to see much overtaking in this last part of the lap, and there is the Haas who's going to be getting blue flags, but he's going to cross the line before the leaders to try and get his fastest lap attempt in. But Joe is going to come across the line.
Is he going to overtake? He's going to lap him.
Oh,
he's actually lapped him.
Well, that's not gone well. But
oh, hang on. The fight for fourth in the background is close. Jarek takes
by how much?
5 thousandths of a second. Wow.
All right, boss.
What?
Okay.
What a fourth place stealing from Jarek right there, from Rundle, and Dasher making up to 8th place from after him having his spin there. As we then have Darkness crossing line to round off the top 10, and Wilson after having a spin on the final lap, doing some weaving and across the line. Well, there we have it. Round 2 wrapped up for the BUSR F1 summer season, as we have Charles Simmons is our driver of the day. Simmons. As we will have a look at the podium celebrations for Joe. Good win.
What are we thinking on interviews? We can just do the top 3.
Could do top 3. I was thinking Jarek and Rundle as well.
I mean, no point getting both of them.
Possibly Joe? Or
How
Joe
about,
or Joe, Jarek, and
how about Joe, Jarek, Dasher?
Or Dasher, yeah. I guess, yeah.
Cool.
As you arrange that. Yeah, exciting race.
Yeah, exactly. Just get a few sides of the Qatar coin, as it were. A few sides of the story. But yeah, turned out to be a good race with some lovely amount of excitement in the end. And great finish there between Rogue and Jarek.
Rundle. And Jarek.
Rundle and Jarek. My apologies. Rogue was, in fact, DNF'd.
Yes.
You win some, you lose some. And GSJW, also known as Pyro, apparently, I didn't realise that, saying, damn, I wanted a fastest lap attempt.
Yeah.
Then you should have stayed in front.
Or defended across the line while having blue flags.
Did you try going faster? Right, shall we get some interviews in, perhaps going Dasher first to see what went wrong in the midpoint of the race.
Yeah.
Right, then I will grab him in. Mr. Dasher Cow. You were running
Hello.
up. Hello. You were running up towards the top 4, top 5 area for most of that race, and then something went wrong.
Yeah, I decided that the turn-in point was about 20 meters earlier in the straight.
Yeah.
And then just turned onto the sausage cone and just spun me out. Complete fault of my own. So a bit annoying, but it is what it is.
Maybe something with the track being a bit less familiar than others, perhaps.
I think it's just it was a lot of high speed, and just trying to keep your lines right, and it's not my strong suit per se. Felt a lot stronger in Imola with the lots of S's and all that kind of stuff. So, but Canada has that, so I feel a bit better for next week.
Yeah, definitely quite a mind game. Having to follow 5 cars in a conga line and trying to hit every turning point, braking point perfectly, but we were what 20 laps ish into that race just after the safety car, new fresh tires. Not the most optimum of situations to get your head back into the game on the safety car restart and get back out there and try and make up some positions till the end.
But yeah, no, I never felt faster than those top 3. But yeah, it would have been nice to be up there. But yeah, unfortunate scenes. Yeah, we move on. All good.
Yeah, we can move on from this one and look forward to Canada. You said that you were looking forward to that one a bit more than this one, maybe. But how do you think the sprint format's going to go for you as well?
Well, sprint format is entirely the reason I won last season, so I can only be happy for it, and I can only talk great things about it. We should make every race a sprint race. Yeah, big thumbs up.
As a Royal Holloway alumni, disagree, but carry on. Yeah, well, fair to say you're looking forward to it then. So good luck for next week, and we'll see you there.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
So that there was Mr.
Mr.
Dasher. And then next, let's get in his fellow Reading driver, Cherokee. Hello.
Good evening.
That was a very interesting race and a very interesting end to it.
Yes, that was like the most intense end to a race I've ever had, I think. Like my insides hurt going over that finish line. It's so close. That's like the closest end I've ever had as well. I'm so
Yeah,
glad the finish line is further ahead than the average track.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How sore is your thumb from holding the overtake button too hard?
Yeah, it was nearly in the floor, my finger basically.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I think that could be the closest we've had a finish in a BUSR event. 5,000th across the line.
Mhm.
Was it pretty
Like-
much just like we were watching pretty much all the action? It was just like you overtake with DRS on Rundle, and then they overtake you next lap. It's pretty ding dong battle. I mean, we had a lot of side by side action through the first
Yeah.
sector.
Oh yeah, I kind of realised that I wasn't going to reach Geek Matty and Joe, so I just thought I'd have a fun battle at the end, instead of like going ultra push and deploy and try and drop Rundle. And he had like a bad exit on the last straight, which meant I could get him on the finish line. Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, I'm. You're saying that you didn't have the pace compared to the top 3, but you pretty much were there the entire time before
Yeah.
that second safety car came out.
Yeah, I think it was just the DRS. I managed to stay with them, but because like Dasher spun and then I was outside of Joe's DRS and then I just couldn't go back in it. So yeah, I wasn't fast enough to reach the top 3. But it did mean I get a good battle with Rundle, which is good.
It certainly
Yeah,
gave
so-
us a lot of entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
very
And
good.
Dasher was looking forward to Canada and especially the sprint format. How are you looking forward to it?
Canada's one of my least favorite tracks, so it should be interesting. I mean, I haven't driven it on this game at all, I don't think. But yeah, it's typically a last game. It was one of my least favorite tracks, but I say that last game Japan was my least favorite, and now it's one of my favorites. So it could change, but yeah, I'll see how it goes next week. Do some practice.
I mean, you tend to be able to use more curb this year,
Yeah. So maybe the
that
last
might
chicane
be.
you'll just be able to straight line it instead of turning.
Oh,
Possibly.
perfect.
Yes, that'll be fun.
Right, well, don't hit too many people while you're straight lining that last chicane.
I'll try my best.
And we'll see what your kill count is next week.
Nice. Yes.
And
So he
finally,
has been eliminated. And now finally we can go and we can kidnap Joe Cow into the broadcast booth. Hello.
Morning. We've been stolen.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
good evening.
Bit of a comeback after a poorly timed safety car, but pole to win. It was more impressive than the stats showed.
Yeah. It was a really awful safety car, though. They should have just not done that. Been nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Ferrari of Rogue, I believe it was, not agreeing with you. But what was your thoughts of seeing that Geek went for the soft tires instead of like everyone around you were going for mediums to the end there?
Oh, as soon as we got that lap 1 safety car and he was on mediums, I knew he was going to eke it out and try to do medium soft. Because it was a viable strategy if you managed to eke the mediums out to like 18. So as soon as, and then there was a safety car as well, I knew he was going to do medium soft. So I was just preying on their downfall in the last few laps, and it kind of happened.
Did it run through your mind that you thought you could also go for the soft tires?
No, like wear on when you're on a wheel, like tire wear when you're on a wheel is so much better than when you're on controller. You just scrub them a bit more on controller, so it's not easier on controller. So I was committed to the hard medium from the start of the race, and I never had the chance with the second safety car coming out to even consider the soft either.
Have you considered getting a wheel?
Yeah, but I like my controller. It's like very small and it fits nice on my desk. It's in the corner here.
The wheel fit on your desk as well.
Yeah, but it takes up more space.
Or you can get a sim rig.
Yeah, but
call that for taking up more space.
I'm a broke uni student, so like
I'll try becoming less broke.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get right on that.
It's something called student finance you can use.
Yeah. Who needs to use it for food? You can use it for a wheel. Easy. Anyway, let's look to the future at Canada and the sprint format. What are your thoughts on the whole lark that's going to go on next week?
Bad. I'm pretty terrible at Canada.
Well, that's 2 out of 3 of the drivers we've interviewed today who said they're not looking forward to Canada.
Yeah, no.
Not even the sprint format.
No, I've only done out of like the 5, I've done well on 1. So statistics aren't in my favour for doing well in a sprint. Out on a track I'm not good at. It's not looking good.
Well, hopefully the changes to the game will go in your favour, because you seem to be able to run more curbs than you used to and get on the power a bit earlier. So we'll see how it goes, and see you next week.
See you next week.
So I believe as a world's first, we may have a graphic that we can go to.
Wow.
The results of the race.
Amazing. Wow.
Look at that. We have a graphic and it looks good, and credit to credit to Dasher who did it, and it's on stream now. The provisional results before any steward applied penalties. That is the qualifying.
That's qualifying.
But don't worry, there's a race one as well.
Race one, wow.
There it is. Fastest lap went to Geek. So he gets the extra points. I believe it's 2 extra points. For some reason, Rogue running the German flag. I don't quite know why. Maybe man is German. If so, I didn't know that. And can see all the tyre strategies as well. How
Indeed.
fun.
And we can have a look at that very close battle for fourth that Jareki and Rundle had, that 5,000th of a second across the
Exactly.
line. In all
And
its
see
glory.
that, well done to Charles Simmons for being the biggest mover of the day, up 4. But I think that's going to about do us for this race and this week of races as well. Round 2 has officially come to a close. So we are going to prepare for round 3. ACC going to be going off to Brands Hatch. That is a circuit with some infamy in the BUSR.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get any
Redacted
redacted moments at that point in time. On the Thursday, iRacing is going to be going to Virginia International Raceway South in the MX-5s.
Love a bit
Returning
of
to the
VIR.
MX-5s. Exactly that. And as we've said before, F1 going to Canada. And there's dirt as well, but that's not
That's not
broadcastable.
broadcasted. Yeah.
So
Unless we had a live finals. NSE. Hook us up.
difficult.
Hook us up, NSE. Come on.
But cool. I think that's about it. Any closing words from you, Mr. Stig991?
I don't know really. Just
That's a no then. Cool.
just no.
Well, while we've got anyone else, just before we end, like and subscribe, share the video, keep tuned for future broadcasts, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.